Let us enter into a time of prayer and reflection, so you can get comfortable. What I usually do is I'll offer up some words, and then we'll have some silence, and when the silence is over, I will ring the bell. If I can get these out of it. Okay. All right. Today, we share a blessing for losers, risk takers, all failures far and wide. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto, rip their pants, skin their elbows, and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are they who have seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfection, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the labels as less than, for they will know the wisdom of imperfection. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, who wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to sites of failure, who are dogged in their pursuits, for they will discover the secrets to dream. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses of hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gifts of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for the injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. And blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. Blessed be and amen. Hi, Robin.
Hi, Kimberly.
Robin, what's today?
Why, I think it's April Fool's.
Yes, you're right. But it's Easter, too.
I know. Want to hear an Easter joke?
Sure.
Why shouldn't you tell an Easter egg a joke?
I don't know. Why?
Because it might crack up.
Okay. Before today, I didn't think Easter was a time for telling jokes. I grew up in a seriously religious home, and Easter was a serious holiday. We did the egg and the candy bit, but we also went to church a lot, and we were supposed to reflect on what Easter means. I thought Easter commemorated when Jesus hid the eggs for the disciples to find, and he turned all the rabbits into chocolate.
Sure, but all kidding aside, it is a rare opportunity to get to celebrate Easter and April Fool's together. The last time the two holidays fell on the same day was in 1956. The next one is in 2029 and then in 2040, but not again after that until the next century.
Wow. But we don't need it to be April Fool's to find humor in Easter. I went online and found a blog by Miles Towns about all the jokes that were in the Bible. Towns, a Presbyterian minister, writes a sermon about Kurt Vonnegut, and he gave on a holy day one week, and it changed his reading of the Bible.
Kurt Vonnegut, who identified as a Unitarian Universalist, preached one Sunday. The title of his sermon was Palm Sunday. Towns writes about Vonnegut that he was not a Christian, yet he was invited to preach at an Episcopal church in 1980. Alas, March 30th, not April 1st. Vonnegut takes on Matthew 26, in which Jesus says to Judas, "For you always have the poor with you," a text that is notoriously problematic for all sorts of Christians. Vonnegut argues that Jesus is not dismissing Judas's concern for the poor, but rather making a joke at Judas's expense. To make the joke clearer, Vonnegut paraphrases it. "Judas, don't worry about it. There will be plenty of poor people left long after I'm gone." This, Vonnegut says, is a divine dark joke, well suited to the occasion. It says everything about hypocrisy and nothing about the poor. It is a Christian joke which allows Jesus to remain civil, but to chide Judas about his hypocrisy just the same.
And did you know Kurt was a Unitarian Universalist?
Did.
Oh, yes, he was. He was a Unitarian Universalist. And this is a story set while Jesus was in Bethany in the home of Simon the leper. And a woman came up to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as Jesus was reclining on the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. "Why this waste?" they said. "The perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor." I think Jesus was trying to teach the disciples that it is important to take care of yourself as it is to take care of others. You know, the air mask on the airplane analogy. I love the idea of Jesus' humanity, his ability to take his followers to task, that he could make a point with a joke as well as a parable. It makes him accessible. I can see him at his family dinner table, telling jokes, telling stories. His mother Mary telling everyone about the time he ran away at the temple. Do you have a mother like that? Tells all your stories that you don't want your friends to know about. A human Jesus who was serious enough to call out injustice within and without his social order, but who sat at the table with tax collectors and fallen women and his friends and his family. This was a man I could learn from, someone who can really turn things upside down.
I think that what I believe is that part of my spirituality is making people laugh. We need humor. We need a little levity to take care of ourselves and others.
And I wonder if Mary felt the same way about Jesus. He kind of gave her a hard time when she asked him to do something about the fact that there was no wine at a friend's wedding. She tells the servants to do whatever he says. They don't say anything about it in the Bible, but upon reflection, the servants must have thought she was out of her mind.
You know, no one talks about my favorite miracle of Jesus.
What miracle is that?
The miracle of having 12 close friends in your mid-30s.
That is a miracle and a little foolish. How did he keep his calendar straight with 12 friends? But seriously, for me it doesn't matter if Jesus really did turn water into wine, although it would be a good party trick. What matters for me in this story is that Mary believed in him. She was calling him out. To me, this story is less about the miracle and more about Mary. She must have known Jesus could change water into wine. She was the first holy fool.
Holy fool, is that like a prankster with a halo?
No, it means a wise fool, like the tarot cards, the archetype of a fool. In the deck, the fool is the first card. It's a 0. The one who is willing to call something out or start something new. Mary has faith in Jesus, and in the Bible stories about Jesus, his mother is always at his side. After the disciples run away, she and the other women are with him at the crucifixion. They are there at the tomb when the stone is rolled away. For me, the idea of a holy fool is a person who is willing to take risks without the certainty of a good outcome. They're willing to try when there is every possibility of failure or that the outcome will be grave. For Mary and Jesus, this was certainly true. For Mary, it ended in the worst possible scenario. She had a dead child. But for Jesus, who knew the risks, and yet he was willing to die for what he believed in, I have wondered sometimes if I could do the same, put my life at risk for something I believed in. I'd like to think that I would.
I'd like to think so too, but I'm not sure I could do that either. It's hard to imagine being in that kind of situation, despite all the comic books that I read. Yet, that is what people have been doing before and after Jesus. Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, Viola Luizzo, killed during the civil rights movement in the US, Jennifer Lopez, a trans activist from Mexico, and many, many others. Though it seems hard to fight for your beliefs when we were planning an Easter egg hunt for the kids, it is something to consider.
I hope that though there are principles worth dying for, there is space for humor and frivolity. Amid the seriousness and the hardships, we don't want to make the same mistakes the Puritans made and do away with fun and laughter in the hope of creating a heaven on earth. That wouldn't be a world worth dying for me.
That's right. We all need good jokes and pranksters.
Okay. In the end.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise. I see the humor in the human Mary and Jesus. People who know how to make good mistakes. After all, Jesus did run away from his parents. He did overestimate his popularity. And nowhere in the Bible did Mary warn him that his career in woodcraft might have been a safer bet. But it can be argued that Jesus did speak in riddles and upset his friends when a simple story would have cleared up all the questions he got asked as he taught and preached.
Do we have time for one more joke?
Sure.
How do you make Easter for you easier?
I don't know. How do you make Easter easier for you?
You replace the T with an I. Easy.
Get it? And the people said, Amen.